What if you were told that a loaf of bread could spark a revolution? Think about it as we delve into the causes of the French Revolution. Picture 18th century France, a nation of opulence and grandeur, yet beneath the surface, a simmering pot of social discontent and economic hardship. The majority of the French population, the Third Estate, was composed of peasants, urban workers, and the burgeoning bourgeoisie. These groups were burdened with oppressive taxation, while the clergy and the nobility, the First and Second Estates, enjoyed vast privileges and exemptions. This stark class disparity sowed seeds of resentment and anger amongst the lower classes, creating a volatile atmosphere ripe for revolution. Now let's add to this mix a severe financial crisis. The French monarchy, under the reign of Louis XVI, was mired in debt, a result of costly wars and extravagant spending. Attempts at financial reforms were blocked by the privileged estates, pushing the nation further into economic turmoil. The situation was exacerbated by poor harvests, leading to skyrocketing bread prices. For many, bread was a staple, their primary source of nutrition. Imagine the desperation when that loaf of bread became unaffordable, a symbol of the monarchy's failure to address the nation's woes. But how does a nation decide to revolt? Enter the Enlightenment, a philosophical movement that swept across Europe in the 18th century. Enlightenment thinkers like Voltaire, Rousseau, and Montesquieu championed ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity. These ideas resonated with the discontented masses, inspiring them to question the established social order. The absolute monarchy, with its divine right of kings, was now seen as a relic of the past, incompatible with these new progressive ideals. So, we have a society fraught with class tension, a monarchy unable to resolve a crippling financial crisis, and a population ignited by Enlightenment ideas. The French people were hungry, not just for bread, but for equality, for liberty, for a voice in their governance. As the pressure built, the stage was set for a revolution that would shake France and the world. The 14th of July, 1789, was not just another day in France. It was the day the Bastille fell, marking the start of the French Revolution. The Bastille, a state prison, was a symbol of the monarchy's absolute power, and its fall resonated deeply with the public. This event was more than just the liberation of 7 prisoners. It was the French people's emphatic rejection of tyranny. In the wake of this seismic event, prominent figures emerged who would shape the course of the revolution. One such figure was Maximilien Robespierre. Known for his steadfast adherence to the principles of the Enlightenment and the rights of man, Robespierre became an influential voice in the National Assembly. He argued passionately for the abolition of slavery and the death penalty, and his speeches stirred the hearts of his fellow revolutionaries. Georges Danton, another key figure, was a man of immense charisma and influence. Known for his fiery oratory skills, Danton rallied the French people during the most turbulent times of the revolution. His speeches were not only inspiring, but also instrumental in mobilizing the masses in support of the revolution. Amidst this upheaval, the National Assembly, France's revolutionary governing body, was formed. It was the first step towards a constitutional monarchy and a significant move away from absolute monarchy. The Assembly was a platform for revolutionaries to voice their ideas and work towards a new political order. One of the defining moments of this era was the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen. This document, heavily influenced by Enlightenment ideals, asserted the universal rights of individuals. It championed the principles of liberty, equality, and fraternity, which would become the rallying cry for the revolution and the foundation for a new France. But the revolution was far from over. In fact, it was just beginning. The storming of the Bastille had ignited a flame that would engulf not just France, but the whole of Europe. The scenes that played out during this time would forever change the course of history, setting the stage for a reign of terror, the rise of Napoleon, and the lasting impacts of the revolution. Imagine a period so violent it was called the Reign of Terror. This was the reality of France from 1793 to 1794. The Reign of Terror, or La Terreur, as it was known in France, was a time of bloodshed and fear, driven by the fervor of revolution and a desire to eradicate enemies of the state. The guillotine, that infamous symbol of swift and unforgiving justice, became a fixture in town squares, its blade falling with chilling regularity. But what led to this reign of terror? The French Revolution had ignited the spark of change, but as the old order crumbled, chaos ensued. The revolutionary government, desperate to maintain control and order, turned to extreme measures. The Committee of Public Safety, led by the formidable Maximilien Robespierre, assumed control and initiated a campaign of terror to suppress counter-revolutionary activity. Robespierre, a lawyer turned radical Jacobin leader, was a key figure in this period. He believed in the virtue of the citizen and the sovereignty of the nation, but his vision of a republic of virtue was marred by the bloodshed it necessitated. His rule was characterized by brutal repression and mass executions. The guillotine, a supposedly humane method of execution, became a symbol of this period. Its blade fell on all those deemed enemies of the revolution, from the monarchy and nobility to commoners accused of counter-revolutionary activities. The reign of terror was not without its consequences. It eliminated many enemies of the revolution, but at a great cost. The relentless bloodshed and fear undermined the revolutionary ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity. It created deep divisions within the revolutionary government and among the French people. However, the reign of terror also paved the way for new developments. It led to a consolidation of power that set the stage for the rise of a new leader, one who would shape the course of France and Europe in the years to come. The reign of terror left an indelible mark on the revolution, but change was on the horizon. From the ashes of the reign of terror rose a new leader, Napoleon Bonaparte, whose influence would reach far beyond France. In the turmoil following the reign of terror, the French government was left weak and divided. Enter Napoleon Bonaparte, a military prodigy who had risen through the ranks during the revolution. Seizing the opportunity, he staged a coup in 1799, effectively ending the French Revolution and establishing himself as the first consul of France. But Napoleon's ambitions didn't stop at mere political power. He saw himself as a modern Caesar, a ruler who could bring stability and prosperity back to France. He launched a series of administrative and social reforms that transformed the nation. He established the Napoleonic Code, a legal framework that greatly influenced many civil law jurisdictions worldwide. He also promoted education, infrastructure, and centralized the French government. Yet his thirst for power was insatiable. In 1804, Napoleon crowned himself Emperor of the French, turning the Republic back into a monarchy in all but name. This marked the beginning of the Napoleonic era, a period of French dominance in European affairs. Napoleon's reign wasn't just about domestic affairs, though. He led France into a series of conflicts known as the Napoleonic Wars. These wars reshaped the political landscape of Europe and set the stage for the rise of nationalism. They saw Napoleon's armies march across the continent, toppling old regimes and spreading revolutionary ideas. But they also led to the deaths of millions and left much of Europe in ruins. Despite the devastation, Napoleon's rule brought about significant changes that would shape the future of Europe and the world. His military strategies are still studied in war colleges today, and his legal reforms continue to influence legal systems around the world. The French Revolution may have ended, but its effects were far from over. The French Revolution, a decade-long period of upheaval and change, left an enduring legacy on the world. But what exactly was this legacy? The seeds of nationalism, scattered during the turmoil of the revolution, sprouted into a robust tree that spread its branches across Europe and beyond. The French people's assertion of their collective identity and their fight for their rights stirred similar sentiments in other nations. This rise of nationalism reshaped the world map, giving birth to new nations and altering the course of many existing ones. The French Revolution was also a beacon of revolutionary ideals. The cry for liberty, equality, fraternity echoed beyond the borders of France, inspiring other movements for change. The American Revolution was one such recipient of this inspiration, and the ripples of these revolutions together spread across the globe, igniting a wave of similar uprisings. The ideals of democracy, human rights, and the rule of law, which we often take for granted today, owe much to the French Revolution. The revolution was not just about lofty ideals, it also had profound practical impacts. It led to the establishment of new political structures, the most significant of which was the rise of secular democratic republics. The power of the monarchy and the church, which had been unchallenged for centuries, was questioned and dismantled. Instead, the people were placed at the center of governance, leading to the concept of popular sovereignty. The French Revolution also brought about a radical shift in the legal landscape. The Napoleonic Code, which was introduced during this period, laid the foundation for the modern civil law systems followed in many parts of the world today. It emphasized equality before the law and the protection of civil liberties. In essence, the French Revolution was more than just a chapter in history. It was a turning point that redefined the course of human progress. It challenged established norms, broke down barriers, and laid the groundwork for the modern world we live in today. The French Revolution wasn't just a pivotal moment in French history, it was a transformative event that reshaped the world.